Good day, DAT-1 students. Today, we will be lecturing and discussing about Module 1. This is the Chapter 1, Introduction to Soils and some terminologies that are technical in this course. I am your instructor, Mr. Nemerex Gerson, and I had given already the instructions on how you will follow our lectures, presentations, demonstrations, as well as exercises, quizzes, and activities about this subject. So first, as an agriculture student, we need first to internalize what is agriculture. So simply, agriculture is the science and art of cultivating plants and domesticating animals and other life forms for food, biofuel, medicines, and other products to sustain and enhance human life. Okay. So moreover, it is a multidisciplinary, no? So it embodies great knowledge that is science and practices or arts of agronomy, horticulture, animal science, soil science, economics, plant pathology, entomology, agribusiness, and agroforestry. So in simpler terms, agriculture is uh, agriculture is life. So it came from a Latin word, means ager or field, and cultura or that is uh, that is how sustain human life. So what is in the agriculture sector? Okay, number one, of course, we need to acknowledge that uh, we need to be acquainted also that there are a lot of opportunities waiting for you as you were to finish this course. Since you are a freshman, you are to be oriented. What are the particular opportunities, job, careers that are waiting for you? So first, agriculture has a diversified employment that is according to CHED, and it was published in the Philippine Daily Inquirer. Why? It's because it has a lesser competition, and then a lot of opportunities in this sector. It could be livelihood, business, profession, and you will be obtaining skills and knowledge in the agriculture sector. Okay, so as you were to graduate, you can become an agriculturist from any agricultural related agencies, either government or private, in the municipal, provincial, Department of Agriculture, DOST, Department of Environment and Natural Resources, BIFAR, BPI, and a lot of uh, government units, private entities, and companies that you could be hired as an agriculturist. Okay, you could become also an agricultural technician. There are a lot of chemical companies here in the Philippines, also seed companies, no? So we have the Bayer, the Leeds Agriculture, Syngenta, Agchem Manufacturing Corporation, AVC, Biostat, Indofil, Agway, Eisenberg, Jocanima, Philgrow, Summit Agro, Texicon, and Zagro. So you need to know all of these particular companies, all of the seed companies, chemical companies that you could apply soon after you graduate. Okay, next, if you want to become an agronomist is an agriculturist who specializes in field crops. So seemingly, there are scientists that are linked to work in international agencies like ERI, International Rice Research Institute, ICRISAT, and also PhilRice. No? So agronomists are agriculturists who specializes on field crops and cereals. Okay. In the future, you could become also a horticulturist if your passion is dealing with vegetables. If your passion is flowers, then you are to be called as a floriculturist. You are to deal in cultivation of flowering and ornamental plants. In the future, you could become also a plant pathologist. So a plant pathologist is a person or an agriculturist who studies plant diseases. So see, there are a lot of opportunities, careers, and jobs waiting for you. Next, you can be hired also as a researcher of any particular agencies in field and in practice of agriculture. The specialty areas in this field can include animal science, food science, bioresource, soil science, and also crop science. Okay, if you want to deal with animals, then you are an agriculturist who specializes in animals, then you can become an animal scientist that plays a key role in maintaining food supply. Most especially this pandemic, we could rear animals, but there are a lot of techniques and ways on how to rear animals. Okay. So in the future, you could also work as a post-harvest technologist. A post-harvest technologist is an agriculturist who specializes in agricultural produce after harvest. No? Includes conservation, protection, packaging, and distribution. But most likely, post-harvest technologists are being hired in abroad. Okay. In relation to our subject, you were now to deal also to become a soil scientist. So you were to study soil, okay, the nature of soil, uh, plant nutrition, and furthermore, no. So soil scientist is one of those high paid agriculturists in the country as well as in the other nations. Okay. You can become also a seed technologist and you are to be hired in some seed companies in the Philippines like Syngenta. Okay. We have also Condor, East-West Seed Company, Canico, etc. There are a lot of seed companies here in the Philippines based either it is distributor, no, or Allied Botanical Corporation. We have there in Pangasinan, no, and a lot of distributing certified seeds. Sino pa bang i-hire doon kundi mga agriculturist din who specializes and want to deal with seeds. Then you are to be called as seed technologist. Okay. You can become also a post-harvest practitioner. A post-harvest practitioner is a person who specializes to maintain the freshness and quality of the produce. No? So they will apply wax. Okay. So they will enhance the fruits to shyness. And most likely they work in wide or big farms. So most likely these big farms are found abroad. Okay. How about being an agricultural extensionist? So if you dream to work with the community and to uh, to work with farmers as an agriculturist, you need to have a good communication skills. You know how to conduct research and you know how to deal and mingle with the people in the community, most especially the farmers, because you will be transferring knowledge and technology to the farmer through seminar, training, and workshop. Ang tawag sa iyo ay, ikaw ay isang agricultural extensionist. Okay. If you want to study microscopic life forms, then you are to become a microbiologist. So you are to study bacteria, algae, fungus, etc. Okay. In the higher form of agriculture, an agriculturist who specializes to culture plant and animal tissue. Ang tawag natin sa kanila ay tissue culturist, no? So Field researcher. Okay, so a lot of jobs, opportunities in careers waiting for you. Field researcher, either it is agriculture, either it's government or private companies or entities. No? So for you to find your opportunity, you need to explore not only your province but as well as the whole nation in the whole world. No? Not only here in Ifugao. No? So you studied here in Ifugao, you need to be globally competitive or locally competitive to deal with some opportunities and careers in other areas. Okay. Kung walang opportunity dito sa atin, then why not to go and try outside? Okay, next. If you're an agriculturist who deals into study insect, then ang tawag sa iyo ay isa kang entomologist. So entomologists have important role in classifying insect, no? Mga insekto. Okay. If you want to study fruits, then ang tawag sa iyo ay pomologist. Okay. In the highest form of agriculture nowadays, meron yung tinatawag tayong biotechnologists are people or person who study genetic and physical characteristics of cells and organism to create a new life form. For example, these genetically modified organisms like RR corn, those are product of biotechnology. Okay, we have also an opportunity for you, a skill, and you are to become a dairy cow milker. So you know how to deal with dairy cows, and you were to work in a milking parlor. But to say that dairy cow milker are highly in demand in abroad, most especially Japan, New Zealand, Canada. Those are one of those high paid agricultural skills related career, no? Okay, so if you are an agriculturist who want to study animals, then you are an animal husbandman, and you were to rear and you were to raise animals regardless of what particular locality you belong. This is a business. Okay, if you have the skill to be a breeder, not only a breeder for plants and animals, this is very in demand for plants, is for seed companies. Plant breeder, you need to have the tender, loving care hands in dealing with flowers for you to have a new variety or a new hybrid of crops. For animals also, well, most especially for the animals, what could I gave an example of a good breeder is for the cockfighting. Okay, if you're an animal breeder, then you need to study the different methods of breeding, especially the pedigree or knowing their origin, if you wish to become an animal breeder, and it is a skill. Most especially that Philippines legalizes cockfighting in our nation, not only in cockfighting but as well as also in raising hogs and as well as other livestock. Okay. You can be hired also as farm manager or farm supervisor in what particular farms, either local, domestic, or international. Okay. Yes. If you are an agriculturist, you could teach also in depth ed. Like you can teach TLE subjects. Okay, as long as you pass the licensure examination for agriculturist, you can become also a trainer of TESDA in this particular agricultural skills. We have K-12 nowadays, and tech work subject and TLE subjects are being incorporated in the curriculum. So this could be an opportunity for those who are wishing to be in the education sector but could graduate as an agriculturist. So an agriculturist could teach both college and high school. Okay. In addition, yes, you can become also a teacher or instructor or professor in the university. No? Your core teachers or core subject teachers teaching major subjects are graduated from their own specialization. Like for us, we didn't graduate education, but we finished agriculture and yet we could teach. No? So that is a possibility if you want to deal on teaching. And I will tell you, it's very rare that we have an agriculturist who want to teach. No? But if your passion is to teach, then we could encourage you. Okay. We have also, if you want to deal or to work in an office, we have here the AFMA, the Republic Act 8435, Agriculture Fisheries Modernization Act, in which this regulates to upgrade the competencies of an agricultural graduate before you can be employed in any agriculture-related linked institution. You need to pass the licensure exam before you could work an office staff of any agricultural-related agency. No? Ang tawag natin doon ay Professional Agriculturist Act, no? Under the AFMA law of Republic Act 8435. Okay. And most of all, if you want to become a successful entrepreneur, ang tawag sa'yo ay agripreneur, deal on business but in the agriculture sector. In short, agribusiness. So you are a person who combines love with an acquired professional business approach on how to deal farming as a business, growing crops as a business, raising animals as a business, because farming is a business and it's a way of life. Okay, so about the course or the subject, this is 3 units, no? So those are the course requirement. So it quizzes, midterm and final exam, as assignments, laboratory exercises, practicum, data gathering, scientific papers, special projects, researches, term paper, and your attendance online and offline is a must. So you need to be updated with the different approaches we're employing this new normal class. Okay, so that's our university grading system. So we have there the passing grades, no? So and the failing marks. Okay, so if your the passing grade is stress, no, that is 75 to 76, 2.75, 77 to 79, 2.5, 80 to 82, 2.25, 83 to 85, 2.0, 86 to 88, 1.75, 89 to 91, 1.5, 92 to 94, 1.25, 95 to 96, 1.0, 97 to 100. But below 74, that is 5.0 or failing mark. And then in progress, if you didn't submit a certain requirement and dropped, if you drop the subject, either unofficially dropped if you did not apply for an application of dropping in the university. Okay, so here are some definitions in our formal lecture. So first, we need to know what is a soil. So soil can be defined as a solid material on Earth's surface. Results from the interaction of weathering in biological activity on parent material underlying hard rock. So saan ba kasi nanggaling ang soil? Okay, so the soil came from weathering. If they say weathering, these are decaying materials, okay, like from the leaves, like from the grasses, dead animals, and any other organic materials, in inorganic materials because rocks can become a soil through what we call weathering process. Ang rock or bato ay nagiging soil din, but it takes a long period of time. No? So, the study of soil as a naturally occurring phenomenon is what we call pedology. So, it came from the Greek word pedon, which means soil or earth. So, the soil came from a various material. Again, it came from a various material, like from organic and inorganic materials. So, yung organic materials, those are the decaying leaves, those are the decaying grasses, decaying animals, no? But for inorganic materials, ito yung mga rocks natin, mga minerals natin that were converted into soil through a weathering and chemical process. Okay. So, before you enrolled in this subject, I think you have an idea what is soil. So, for a layman or an ordinary person, we know that the soil is a medium where we walk day by day. For a child, well, it's like a dirt. For construction engineer, it is for the foundation of the building. And for a farmer, it is medium for plant growth. So there are a lot of definition of the soil depending on the particular kind or type of people. But technically, we define soil, okay, from geologist point of view, it is an obstacle that must be cleared for him to get the rocks and minerals. No? But we know that these rocks can become a soil after a long period of time. Okay, so a mining engineer, the soil is material he must excavate in order to get deposits he's interested in, like gold. Okay, so there are two approaches in the study of soil. So, edaphological approach is the study of soil characteristics in relation to crop production. So, this is very much important in the agricultural sector. If you were to study the soil as a medium for plant growth, then that is edaphological approach or edaphology, no? So, ang ibig sabihin nito ay kung tinitignan natin ang lupa bilang pagtamnan ng gulay o kaya kung anong taniman yan, edaphology ang approach nun. No? But if we were to study the origin or the class and description of the soil, then ang tawag natin ay pedological, or this is the the technical aspect of the soil. Either taxonomy or how can we name this soil, but for an agriculturist, the more edaphological approach is what most important. Okay, so here are the four composition of the soil. So the soil comprises, an ideal soil comprises, no, or compose, an ideal soil compose the following: 45% inorganic matter or minerals, no? So this includes non-carbon based materials. Okay? And that is 45%. So what are those inorganic matter or minerals? So yon. So these are the soil solid particles that holds the pore space and the soil air. So soil water at least 25%, soil air or pore space in the pore space at least 25%, and an ideal composition of organic matter or ON is at least 5%. Then if you have that percentages, then you have a good composition of the soil. Okay, how about if the soil water is higher than the soil air? Then we know kung mas mataas ang water substance ng soil or yung lupain, lubak-lubak na po ang lupain. No? It's muddy, no? But if air is more abundant than the soil water, then the soil is very dry, no? Tigang, or it cracks, no? Or it is just like sand, or it's pulverized. Okay, so soil composition for ideally at least 45% mineral. This includes sand, silt, and clay particles, which provides anchorage or support to the plant, and this supplies nutrient elements to the crops. Organic matter, at least 5%. This includes decaying materials from plants and animals mixed with the mineral matter. These are the main source of nitrogen. So nitrogen is the most important nutrient or element in the crop. Soil water carries in this most dissolved nutrients, and soil air about 70% nitrogen and 20% oxygen, 0.5 carbon dioxide, and other gases, that will sustain the living organisms in the soil, because soil organisms are also breathing. Like for example, we have there the earthworms, no? Nematodes, etc. Okay, we have here three pie graph in the component definition of the mixture of minerals, organic matter, water, and air. In the first pie graph, that illustrates the ideal composition of the soil for a good composition of the soil, no? That is ideal for planting. In the second pie graph, we have more soil solid, and we have 25% soil water and 5% soil air, but we have no organic matter. Then this soil is not ideal for planting. So this soil is mostly found in arid and dry areas, as illustrated in the second pie graph. And in the last pie graph, we have here more water substances. We have here more soil water than the soil air. Then, as I mentioned earlier, that if we have more proportion of water than the soil air, then the soil is mud. Okay? So ideally, soil air, if you were to compare soil air and atmospheric air, it's very close. So for nitrogen, at least 79.20% is ideal. For oxygen, at least 20.6 for the living organisms to breathe. And for carbon dioxide, we have 0.25. Carbon dioxide is essential in the photosynthetic process of the crop. Why do we study soil? Bakit kinakailangan nating aralin ang soil? No? Because plants grown mostly in the soil. No? Secondly, we derive our energy indirectly from the soil, because most crops are being cultivated in the soil. Third, our economy depends on production from this soil. No? And last, our shelter and our residential houses are being constructed, and the foundation is in the soil. No? Okay, so why do we need to study soil? Because it's number one. Okay, it's a medium for crop production. Second, producer and absorber of gases. Third, it is a media of heat and water exchange. Fourth, It is home to organisms like plants, animals, and others. Fifth, it is essential natural resource. It filter of water in waste, source of material for construction, waste decomposer, and snapshot of geologic and climatic, biological, and human history. So without the soil, then life is inevitable here on Earth. But in the agricultural point of view, what most important here is the medium of crop production and home to organisms like plants and animals. So soil as a medium for plant growth, because soil is the major source of water and nutrients for the plant. We need to study its composition in order for us to know what particular element or nutrient we were to supply. Okay. Kung bakit natin inaaral ang soil ay para malaman natin kung ano ba ang kulang na nutrient na iradagdag natin in order for the crop to grow robustly and to produce more food. Okay. We have here the basic unit study of soil is the soil profile. So we have actually what we call the soil profile is a vertical cross section of the soil. So the uppermost section is the O horizon. Okay, so the O horizon comprises the organic or O horizon commonly found in areas where we have dead plants and animal residues. No? They are being decayed, and after O horizon, we have here the topsoil, or the A horizon, the subsoil, B horizon, the parent material, lower C horizon. So for the soil horizons may be further subdivided into four. We have the eel that represents leaf litter. It came from leaves of the plants. And after that, the leaf of the plants or any decaying materials will be now processed through decomposition, and it will turn as an H or humus. Then, after several years or after several months, a layer of soil will be formed. And E for alluvial horizon, below the humus. And this lie above the B or alluvial horizon. So the topsoil here is the leaf litter, the fermenting leaf litter, the humus, alluvial. These are the A horizon. So we have here an image showing the different horizons of the soil. O represents organic, A surface, B subsoil, C substrata, R the bedrock, or that is the table water. Okay, so paano ba na-form or paano ba nabubuo ang soil? Okay, so soil develop as a result of 5 factors. We have the parent material. No? Mas makapal ang layer ng soil depending kung anong parent material ang available. So for example, in a forest, you were to expect more thick layers of O horizon and topsoil because of organic matter being decayed, like the leaves, the trunks, the trees, and dead animals, etc. They were being converted into soil. No? But if the parent material is a rock, then expect that it will take how many years, million of years before a rock in stone could be converted into soil. Next, the time. Okay. So if the parent material is organic, then the time of decomposition or withering of the rocks is faster. Okay? Like yung mga nahuhulog na leaves, yung mga na-decayed na weeds, plants, etc., they have faster decomposition. While the inorganic materials, they have longer decomposition. It will take how many years before a soil will form. How about climate? Okay. Hot climate will hasten in faster a decomposition process and physical withering of the rocks. Meanwhile, in areas which are cold, then decomposition will take longer. We have here relief. Relief, this pertains to landform and topography. Okay. Depending upon to the relief or landform, if the area is plain, then you are to expect a more homogeneous horizons. Homogeneous or the same horizons of the soil. But if the topography or the landform is mountain, then expect a different layers from the mountain, the hills, no? They have different layers or thick layers. Okay? Like for example, in a hill, mas makapal ang topsoil beneath the mountain rather than in the top due to erosion and leaching process. Okay, organisms. We have here the vegetation, the fauna in the soil biota. Biota is a group of organisms. Either it is flora or fauna. Flora is plants, fauna is animals. No? So, okay. Or how can soil biota affect soil formation? No? If we have, for example, fungi, it will fasten the decomposition of organic materials. No? Okay. So they will hasten the decomposition process of those organic materials na siyang magiging soil. Okay, the parent material from which the soil developed varies from the rock deposits like alluvium. Okay, in the initial state of the soil system. As I mentioned earlier, depende po kung anong parent material, either it is from solid rock deposit, from boulder clay, or from organic matter. So the parent material can be influence the soil in a number of ways: the color, texture, structure, mineral composition, and permeability. So depending upon to the color of the soil, it will influence from the parent material. It will influence the color. For example, more organic matter, then the color could be black soil. But as I mentioned to you that not all black soil are fertile. No? We have here the texture, structure, and mineral composition. Permeability or drainage, this is the process of the water. No? On how the water will penetrate on the ground. Okay, so how will the climate affect the soil formation? So we have here the climate is the most important factor that governs the rate and type of soil formation in the determinant of vegetation distribution. Because the temperature will affect reactions, either chemical or biological decay. No? As I mentioned earlier, the more precipitation and higher temperature, then it will it will hasten decomposition. Okay, but if the climate on that or the temperature is very low, then the decaying is very slow process. Okay, so the organisms, the vegetation, fauna in the soil microbes or the soil biota as we mentioned, they were to help also in the decomposition of the organic matter or organic materials that will be converted into soil. Like for example, the worms, no, they are essential in converting organic matters. The fungus also. Okay, relief or landforms. So relief is not static. So ibig sabihin, relief influences soil formation in several ways. Like for example, in the soil profile thickness, kapag ang isang soil, it came from a decaying rock or withering rock, um, expect a no? thinner soil thickness, no? Like for example that in Buliklik rock, those rocks in Ibulao, no? After several years, expect that those rocks are being decayed, no? Nagiging soil na, but for now, uh, it seems to be sturdy, but after several years, after how many years then magiging soil din yan. Okay, so the time in Britain, okay, it takes 400 years for 10 millimeters of the soil to develop, or 10 millimeters is equivalent to 1 inch. So an inch of soil, it will take 400 years before it will create a thickness of 10 millimeters or 1 inch. So, imagine, no? Ang habang panahon bago ma-form ang isang inch of soil. So, if your area is prone to erosion, then how many inches are being eroded in decay for how many years? So, we need to stain the soil and take care of our soils. Okay, so the soil forming factors. Soil are complex and dynamic system in which many processes are taking place. Like withering, ibig sabi, we were to discuss this one by one, the soil forming factors. So withering, this refers to the breakdown in the composition of rocks and minerals by factors including air, water, sun, and frost. Yung rocks na nagiging soil, those are withering process. Either it is physical withering or chemical withering. So physical withering, this involves the breakdown of rocks into smaller particles. Ang rock nagiging soil pakonti-konti because of some factors like the water, the sun, the air, and in other countries they have the frost, no? Chemical weathering involves the alteration of the chemical composition of the rocks. So chemical weathering, like for example, the transformation of the rocks into another substance, no? Like, so decomposition and humidification. So humidification is the breakdown of plant remains through this is the most important biological process taking place in soil. So humidification, or this humidity or the moisture present in the atmosphere, this will enhance humidification process that is essential or important in the formation of humus. Like for example, if the leaves contains more humus, then the faster if the leaves littered or fallen contains more moisture, then the faster the decomposition will take place. No? Malhumus develop under deciduous woodland have base-rich plant remains which are broken down by a prolific soil biota because they have some microorganisms and some uh, soil important insect like the beetles. They are important in the decomposition of the organic materials. Modern humus in intermediate between more and mal, and more humus are usually develops beneath coniferous woodland. No? And breakdown of more humus is very slow because of the absence of soil biota. So more humus are humus which were developed under climatic conditions like water. Water brought by snow or water brought by rain or some other factors. So capillary action, in simpler terms, is the movement of water from the soil in an upward form. No? Kapag ang water ay pataas from the soil or from the water table, ang movement ng water is pataas, that is capillary action, no? Or capillary movement due to, number one, either it is evaporation. Second, na nagkakaroon ng capillary action is saturation of the soil or masyado ng maraming water sa soil. So, ang mangyayari is aakyat ang water because of abundance and evaporation. The reverse of capillary movement or capillary action is leaching. Leaching naman if the soil water moves downward until it will reach the water table. Yung water table na sinasabi ko, yun po yung hangganan ng movement of the water. Kaya may tinatawag tayong bedrock. Doon po masasuspend na po yung water doon. Okay, so leaching, whenever it rains, it exceeds evaporation, bababa. This is the downward movement of water in the soil. So too much leaching will now cause erosion because of the oversaturated soil. Translocation. What's this translocation? The movement of material in solution or suspension from horizon to another is what we call as translocation. Okay? Again, soil color varies from what amount of organic matter in state of iron will affect the color of the soil. Okay, soil texture is a term used to describe the distribution of the different sizes of mineral particles in the soil. Like for example, we have the soil clads. Okay, granular soil. Okay, they are like granules. Soil clad, or yan yung tinatawag nating hardened soil or bingkol in Tagal, in Ilocano. Okay, so we have first review. What factors might contribute to the visible differences between these two soils? As you can see in the illustration, ano kaya ang nakakaapekto kung bakit iba ang dalawang soil na pinapakita dyan. In the first image, you can see there brown soil and we have a thinner topsoil. Ano kaya ang nakaka-apekto dyan? Okay. As we mentioned, that topsoil or layers of topsoil or all horizon depends upon on what particular organic matter is present in that area. Siyempre, mas konting organic matter source, expected a thinner O horizon or A or top soil. Okay? Kapag mas kokonti ang plants, mas kokonti ang vegetation, expect niyo po ang mas thinner horizon. A horizon. Okay, second image. What type of humus is most likely to develop in this environment? As you can see in the relief or topography, okay, as I gave an example a while ago, ano kayong nakikita natin na pwedeng ma-develop from this site? No? In the top of the mountain, as you can see, lesser ang vegetation. So expect a slow process of decomposition. No? Mas kokonti ang layer in the top portion of that mountain kasi kokonti ang vegetation or plants na siyang magiging soil. Okay, expect that part is a rock. Rock is being weathered and it will take how many years before it will create a soil, before it will form soil. But beneath that mountain, we have there the different trees, grasses. Yan po yung mga organic sources natin na siyang magiging soil which will now be converted into a thicker layers of O and A horizon. Okay, in the third image, we have here the earthworms. So earthworm is a soil biota or a soil, earthworm is a soil fauna which is important in converting organic matter into a fertile soil. So earthworm is essential in creating a fertile soil. Okay, review 4. What indicates that the lower part of the soil is poorly drained and lacks of aeration? Okay, as you can see the lower part of the image, it is a rock. No? So that rock is has a very poor drainage because it has a lesser pore space in terms of air. No? So, of course, water cannot penetrate in that lower part of the soil because it is a solid particle or a solid material. In the fifth image, as this is a review. No? Okay, what process is producing this layer in this soil? Okay, what process is producing in this layer of the soil? Okay, what process? Of course, we have the weathering process. So the weathering process is we have here the humidification process, wherein those organic materials are being fermented and decomposed and converted it as a soil. Okay, in the sixth image, what is a vertical cross-section through a soil? What is this cross-section? A cross-section of a vertical soil is what we call soil profile. A vertical cross-section is what we call soil profile. What name is given to the layers in soil of the cross-section? Okay, at the uppermost, that black part, okay, at the uppermost part, we have there the O horizon, the organic horizon. Next, we have the A horizon, the topsoil or the surface soil. We have the B horizon, we have the C horizon, and the R or the rock that will represent the water table or the bedrock. Okay, seventh picture. Explain how the relief shown in this photograph may affect soil formation. As you can see in the image, we have a very poor vegetation areas and expect that topography, expect a lower composition of or formation of that soil in that relief because of a very low vegetation, no? Ibig sabihin konting plants ang tumobo, kaya expect a poor formation of soil. Okay, 8 review. Why leaching of the soil is likely to be occurring in this part? Okay, why leaching? Okay, because we can found there a river or stream that will carry the soil the soil in the river banks or in the seas. And then another factor is that it's mountainous and it's rolling hill, no? Because of gravitational pull or gravitational movement, okay, the water will leach, the water will erode the soil if it saturates the area. Okay, review 9. Which layer in this soil is elevated? As you can see in the image, A horizon and B horizon are being elongated because of the repetition of the horizon. Okay, so that ends the first module. So I just have here a simple quote: if you ate today, then thank you, farmer. So if you ate 3 times a day, then thank a farmer, because they are the feeder of the nation. So thank you very much, and you can now answer your quiz after watching this video.